Welcome to Brand Builders TV. Deep dive topics, tools and resources brought to you by global thought leaders from within the Brand Builders Club. This show gives you access to the strategies that you can use to move forward with ease and flow in every area of your life and business. In today's show, Claire is going to take you through the magic behind telling a traditional tale. So find a quiet space and enjoy learning some literacy hacks, listening to a high vibe story, followed by a magical meditation. Learn it, model it, and get shit done. Let's go.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to another episode of the Brand Builders TV show. With me, your host and facilitator today, Clare Ford. I am an expert educator and founder of Switched On, and I am here today to share with you some top tips to get your son or daughter writing an amazing myth. Right? Writing an amazing myth. So as you are joining, if you are watching, please do pop your name down below. Come and say hi. Tell me where you're hopping on from. Tell me how old your children are, right, that are at home with you. So this will work whether you are a home educator or whether you are supporting your children with their homework at school. And you may say to me, well, why do we need to write myths, right? Why are we even teaching our children these things? So the point is this, that storytelling, right, obviously dates back to the myths of time. It dates back to the myths of time, and it is a real skill to tell a story. And actually, for the entrepreneurs here, you will know that stories are what make that emotional connection with people, right? Stories make that emotional connection with people. So it's really, really important that children and teenagers hear stories and that they understand, you know, how stories are structured, because later on, this is going to really help them discover how to make that emotional connection with people. All right, so we've got lots of juicy content for you today. We're going to look through some tips for writing a traditional story, and then I'm going to share with you a story that I wrote where I've collaborated with some children from around the world when we did our Little Authors Big Ideas Challenge. So I'm going to share a story with you so you can sit back and relax and really remember what it's like to be told a story, right? As adults, we often don't get this opportunity to listen to a story. So I want you to enjoy that today. And then we're going to finish the end of our session with a lovely, beautiful guided meditation, really immersive, to just help you think about some of those things that have popped up in the story. So if you're watching, pop in, say hello. I would love to see you. Give me a thumbs up if you can see me and hear me okay. And if you've got any questions moving forwards, write those in the comments below, and I will make sure that I get back to you with your comments. I will answer your comments personally. All right, so without further ado, let's get cracking. I'm going to share my screen with you and share with you some top tips which you can then share with your children at home. All right, so let's go. Let's hope this works. There we go. You should be able to hopefully see that. So top tips for writing an amazing myth. Let's go through that now. All right. So one of the first things that we need to work out is what even is a myth, right? How do we know what a myth is? And then we're going to work out what you can base your myth on, and how to use something called metaphors, which I'm going to tell you a little bit about, and we're going to play a game around that as well. So just a brief introduction. This is me with my 2 teenage sons. I'm a mum of 2 lovely boys. I've been educating for over 15 years and I love words and languages and creativity. And so I also love unlocking that potential in children and young people and combining education with emotional and spiritual well-being. So happy to have a chat with you if you would like. So what is a myth? So simply, it is this. It's a story made up to explain natural phenomena, right? So if you think about our ancient civilizations who didn't necessarily have that scientific knowledge at their fingertips, they would be looking about them and trying to find a way to make sense of the world around them, right? And because some of these things felt so much bigger than them, the myths would often include supernatural beings, right? Another thing that we can think about when we're writing a myth or a traditional tale is something called the hero's journey, where a hero goes on a quest to discover something or to rescue someone, which is our knights in shining armor rescuing princesses from, you know, the man-eating, fire-breathing dragon, right? So those kinds of traditional stories as well. Now, what's beautiful about reading myths from around the world is that this is really culturally enriching. This can really give us an idea about different cultures, different peoples. And this is why when you're homeschooling, you can use writing myths and legends to also learn about those cultures and use those cross-cultural references and those cross-curricular links to weave everything together, which is what I love. And sometimes in schools, you know, we do that, but sometimes we don't have time to do that. So this really is about a magical learning journey that, you know, you are going on with your children. Okay, so the first top tip is to decide if you are going to be picking a force of nature to describe or your hero's journey to describe. And I've got an example here from an American myth called Grandmother Spider. And this, for example, is how they talk about that. You can see the trees here. You can see the moons. You can see the birds. You can see the rabbits. So this is actually like, you know, a really great picture to describe the feeling that your myth, your traditional tale might have. Okay, so in Grandmother Spider, it starts like this. Long, long ago, and that's a brilliant way to start a myth. Long, long ago, there were only animals living on the earth. The lands of the north were covered in darkness. All right, so that's one way that you could start a story about a natural phenomenon. Another story I've got here is an Indian traditional tale called The Rabbit in the Moon. And this says, have you ever looked up at the moon when she is full and bright? Have you ever wondered what that silver blue shape is on the moon's surface? This shape, if you look carefully, has the long ears and body of a rabbit. So there we're beginning with a rhetorical question, but we're also really talking about discovering, you know, what is actually the moon's craters, but many people say is the rabbit in the moon. Okay, so there are some ideal beginnings for you. And if you're choosing a hero with a moral, then you might want to start a story about that. You might also have, we talked about the supernatural. Let's just go back to this one. We talked about the supernatural beings, and an example of that is in a Chinese story that I have here called The Dragon and the Cockerel. And this story talks about the celestial emperor ruling over the sky, the sea, and the earth. Right? So this is the kind of language that we need to incorporate in our writing. All right, so let's have a look at choosing that mystical setting. We talked about that, and the supernatural beings, right? The celestial God. And here is a beautiful picture of a wolf that's been drawn by one of the young illustrators who is collaborating with me on Lollipops and Rainbows. And he sent this winning entry in based on the story that I'm going to read to you in just a moment. Now, one of the other things that we talked about was using metaphorical language. So here I've got a beautiful picture of a tree. Trees make wonderful metaphors. So let's just think a little bit about what is a metaphor, right? And how is a metaphor different, for example, to a simile? You may have heard these words before. So a simile is when we compare with the words like or as, and a metaphor is when something actually is something else, not in reality, but we use this metaphorical language to paint a brighter, broader picture for our reader. So let's have a little go of this. I want you to pop in the comments, is this a simile or a metaphor? As big as a house. What do you think? Simile or metaphor? Let me know in the comments. Let's move on to the next one. Simile or metaphor? She's such an angel. She's such an angel. All right, so a clue is that if you're using like or as, it is a simile. And if you're just saying it is something else, it's a metaphor. Let's try this one. A wave of delight washed over him. Simile or metaphor? What do you think? A wave of delight washed over him. That is a metaphor. And let's have a look at this one. Cunning like a fox. And obviously we have lots of animals in these traditional tales, right? So it's sometimes really nice to use these personality traits from animals and to link them with people, right? So this is cunning like a fox. Simile or metaphor? What do you think? Pop it in the comments below. You are right. It is actually a simile. Yes, yes. All right. Here's one more, I think. He was as brave as a lion. Ah, there he is, the little cat. Pretending he's a lion. My cats do that all the time. As brave as a lion is a simile. All right, so let's get ready to read my story now, which is called When Spirit Wolf Lost Her Spirit. Let me see if I can make this picture a little bit smaller so that you can see it better. There we go. When Spirit Wolf Lost Her Spirit. Okay, so are you sitting comfortably? Let us begin our story. Never in the mists of time had such an event occurred. In the centre of a leafy glade, Spirit Wolf was lying still and exhausted. Moon Wolf howled long and low to summon Mother Nature to help. The wind rustled the leaves in the glade, and woodland creatures crept out to surround Spirit Wolf. What shall we do? They wondered. Is Spirit Wolf ill? What has happened? Has Spirit Wolf lost her spirit? Fire Wolf stood up amongst the pack and suggested that they make a medicine wheel from twigs and leaves. This wheel points to the four corners of the earth and to the heavens above and the earth below. Since the dawn of time, it has been used to summon wisdom from the ancients to heal earthly suffering. Guardian Wolf took charge, as she had been handed ancient knowledge and wisdom in the form of visions, and asked for guidance to heal Spirit Wolf. We need to get Spirit Wolf to the worry tree, she explained gravely. Something is troubling her heart and soul, and the worry tree will listen and take the worries away. Then Spirit Wolf can heal and will feel strengthened. So with that, the pack of wolves and the woodland creatures made a bed of straw and moss, which they used to carry Spirit Wolf carefully over the rocky terrain. They laid her down with care. They stood in a respective circle around her and sent beautiful pink, sparkling, healing energy from their hearts to each other, to Spirit Wolf, and to all of the earth. Quietly, Howling Wolf started a slow humming, and the other wolves gently joined in until the wheel of medicine lifted itself up from the barren soil and span above Spirit Wolf's body, this way and that, swirling and whirling, until all that could be seen was a myriad of colours. A bright translucent rainbow surrounded Spirit Wolf's body, and a beautiful white glow lit up the area under the worry tree. The pack of wolves and woodland creatures increased their humming and chanting so that the eagles on faraway mountains and salmon in deep cool streams could hear them too. Slowly, Spirit Wolf began to stir, and then, wobbly and unbalanced at first, to stand. Then she stretched, looked up to the sky above, and emitted a long, beautiful, eerie howl, which reverberated around the earth to all dimensions, to all galaxies and stars in the universe. My journey has brought me home. I have found what I was searching for. It is within me. I have everything I need inside of me, in my heart and in my soul. I thought my spirit was shattered into hundreds of tiny little pieces, but now I feel whole again. Thank you. The wolves and creatures cheered and went back to the glade, rejoicing that Spirit Wolf felt whole again. And that is the end of the story. Okay, so let's have a think about the story. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to know your comments. We're going to do a couple of little things now after the story. So this was why one of my young illustrators, let me see if I can find the fox again. This was why he drew the fox like he did. And when I said to him, why have you drawn the fox like this? He said, because this is the missing part. This is the bit which disappeared, which is why Spirit Wolf didn't feel whole. And these are all the different parts of her spirit and her soul that have come back to her body. Isn't that beautiful? He was only 10 years old, the boy who drew that. And this picture was drawn by my son, Alex, which he has. This is the second illustration that he's done in the book Lollipops and Rainbows. And so, yeah, beautiful. He's got that wolf howling there, the spirit medicine and the worry tree. So grateful for these beautiful young people who are, participating in this project as well. And, this is something that you can do too. So what makes this a good piece of writing? Well, we have a nice beginning. So never in the midst of time had such an event occurred, right? So already it's going to be some kind of mythical tale. And then we have our mythical creature, right? Because straight away we say, in the center of the leafy glade, Spirit Wolf was lying still and exhausted. And so we all know that we don't go round in everyday kind of terms or going to zoos or having pets, which are spirit wolves, right? So we know that this is going to be slightly different. Okay, so the other thing that we have is that there is a problem to be solved, right? Has Spirit Wolf lost her spirit? We make that very clear at the beginning of the story. And we can see actually by this picture that maybe there is a part of her that's gone missing. So we've got that lovely setting, okay? The other thing we've got is that we've got some metaphorical writing because we use the tree, right? We use the tree, we use the worry tree. And this is something which I'm going to talk to you in a moment about as well. And the other thing that's brought in is that there's a moral to the story at the end. The people are standing in a respective silence, right? This is all about a community where all the different wolves in the pack come together, they join together, right? So this is something that you can talk about again. The resolution is that the creatures cheered, rejoicing that Spirit Wolf felt whole again. All right, good. So for some follow-up activities, something that you can do is to, and I suggest this in the book, right, Rainbows and Lollipops, Teaching Literacy with Soul, is you can discuss, of course, the moral of the story, right? How did that story make you feel? I would love to know, okay? Jot some of those comments down underneath this video. Let me know, how did that story make you feel? And what do you feel like when you feel whole, as in WHOLE? And how is this different to feeling broken or shattered, right? So these could be really, really good follow-up activities or points for discussion. Other activities I've got listed here is to write your worries or concerns on a leaf template and then hang them on a worry tree. You could have some branches and twigs somewhere in the house or somewhere in your classroom where children can simply write their worries and hang them on the tree. And then you can choose a leaf and quietly use your inner voice to tell you the solution to the problem, right? Write the solution on the back of the leaf and put it back on the worry tree. So for the person to find who put it there. Another thing you can do, if there is a few of you, is to stand in a circle and quietly start humming the first note that comes to mind. Wait for other people to join in, so you make a circle of sound, and then stop when you feel guided to do so. This is a really important way of connecting on a soul level with other people, right? Regardless of culture, background, understanding, proficiency of English. So this is a really good way, like everybody can kind of just hum a note. Everybody has their own note and their own vibration, right? And by doing this in the round, by doing this in a circle, it actually creates a beautiful sense and feeling of community. You could also perhaps rewrite this myth or legend as a play script and act it out in groups with people coming in as the different wolves and saying the thing that they have to say. You could use your own sound effects for the wind rustling. You could use your own stage directions, and you could talk about how each of you has interpreted the story differently. Again, this is really, really important, right? Different interpretation is the key to understanding, to empathy, to compassion, to seeing people's perspectives from a different point of view. So talking about different interpretation of a story really helps to then open up those conscious conversations later, where you can talk about different interpretations of an event or of a rule or of something that has perhaps caused some upset or discourse in your family. All right, so I'd love to know which of those follow-up activities you really would enjoy doing. And if you've done anything like that in the past, just jot that down below. Let me know how that has worked. We have had some incredible results from allowing children and young people to just explore using these kinds of stories as a springboard, really, either to do another piece of writing, but also just to explore the emotional landscape as well, all right? Because that is so, so important. All right, so now we're going to get ready to settle into our meditation for today. So I would love for you to get yourself ready. If you need to pause this video and you're watching it on catch up, please do so. Make sure you grab yourself a glass of water to have afterwards, maybe a blanket. Make sure that you're sitting or lying comfortably. And then we will begin in just a moment. I'm just taking a sip of water myself. All right, I'm going to put on some nice relaxing music, which I hope you can hear. And then we will begin with a beautiful magical meditation, which is actually linked to this story that I have just read you. Okay, let's make a start. Imagine sitting under a worry tree with a heavy heart. Take some deep breaths And with each breath, send your worries one by one to the tree. Know that the tree can absorb all of these concerns. Imagine that you're leaning back against that strong trunk of the tree and begin to feel lighter as your burdens are lifted. Now with each breath, feel the earth under you. Feel that gnarled tree trunk against your back. Feel the sun on your face. Feel the light around you getting softer and lighter as you become surrounded by a rainbow. Imagine you can feel the rainbow light entering every cell of your body, every fiber of your being, every gap between every cell, washing your body with rainbow light. You are a rainbow child. Breathe in this truth and feel your heart and soul fill up and overflow with rainbow light. And just stay in this beautiful space, enjoying the light washing through you. And then very slowly wiggle your fingers and toes and begin to come back to the room. Stretching, yawning, sighing, coming back to the room. Well done. Wiggling your fingers and toes. Making sure that you are able to see me, hear me, that you're back in the space, taking a deep breath in now. Well done, well done, well done. And I really, really hope that you enjoyed that little sparkly magical meditation, which, you can do with your children, right? It's just a couple of minutes long. So people have been loving this kind of activity, these classes. The children have been inspired and excited. The mums have been inspired and excited. So if you would like to have your child make a story that is publishable, let me know. I would love to chat to you. If you have a reluctant writer, we've got here that you can push through those barriers, achieve things that can never really normally be done in school. So this is all going on, right, in the Switched On Academy right now. So I would love, love, love to talk to you if you are interested in switching on your child's learning, taking your child's learning to a different level where it's not just about the education, but it's also about the emotional stuff as well, right? So it's about education, empowerment, and also evolving, right? By adding in some of these more spiritual dimensions, by adding in content that is high vibrational, that a lot of these children now will totally resonate with. Okay, so I've thoroughly enjoyed sharing this with you. I will be here again next week to share part 3, where we look at a different kind of writing structure, where we go through this, where I give you some more tips, and then so that you can then share that with your children to empower their learning so that they're switched on, they're excited, they're inspired, they feel confident to have a go, and they're achieving things that are maybe well above and beyond all the expectations that you might have of them as a parent, or that their teachers might have of them too. It's been lovely being with you here today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. That's it from me. Take care. Bye for now.
I hope that you've enjoyed the show today as much as we've enjoyed making it for you. If you've got anything out of this episode, please do tell someone else how they can subscribe to the Brand Builders TV channel at youtube.com/brandbuilderstv. Why not join us at our next Brand Builders Thinkubator, a global mastermind that we run every week to take away the loneliness of being in business on your own. For more information and to book your place, visit light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. That's light.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. Until next time, be the ripple that you wish to see in the world, and we'll see you soon.